Hello, everybody. I am thirteene, and this is the week Modern Horizons finally came out, so we're going to be celebrating Squirrel Dealer style with Squirrel Week. It's like Shark Week, but it's basically just me and Morrow who care about it. Well, first on the bench today for Squirrel Week, we're going to be playing. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. I didn't update this at all. We are playing Infinite Squirrels! Yay! Woo! All the squirrels! So I'd like Legacy. In Modern, wow, that does not want to get any bigger. Alright, well, we're going to be trying to do Infinite Squirrels with Intruder Alarm. So, anybody familiar with Modern knows that Intruder Alarm is a deck. Intruder Alarm only has one piece that untaps all of your creatures, which makes it a little hard to go off. Plus, it's kind of easy to interact with, but it doesn't really matter. We're doing a straight up linear deck that tries to make a ton of squirrels tonight. So, right off the bat, our combo is going to be right off the bat, Squirrel Nest with Intruder Alarm and a way to untap the land that has Squirrel Nest on it. So what's going to happen is Squirrel Nest will tap to give us a green squirrel. Arbor Elf can untap it. That'll create two squirrels. We're going to get some just general attrition that way. And then we have Intruder Alarm that says creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. But whenever a creature enters play, untap all creatures, including your opponent. So what's going to happen? We're going to tap Arbor Elf to untap our land with Squirrel Nest. Tap to create a squirrel. Squirrel enters. That untaps Arbor Elf, and that's just going to loop for infinite squirrels. Then we have a couple of different ways just to get some value off of this. We end up getting Grook, Curious Follower, Fate Stitcher, just additional ways to untap our Squirrel Nest land. Notably, Grook does not actually interact with Intruder Alarm, but also gives us overrun so that we can actually win another way. And then, yeah, apologies there. I did not get all of these updated. We have Drift of Phantasms, has Transmute to go tutor anything in the 3 CMC drop, and Snaring Bridge to help keep us alive, and Utopia Sprawl to kind of help ramp things out. If we go back to the actual deck list, almost everything in our deck is 1 or 3 CMC. We're hopefully going to drop a 1 CMC mana ramp and then get to 3 CMC. If we need to, we can transmute the Drift of Phantasms, actually go get an Ensnaring Bridge to protect ourselves if it's an aggressive matchup, go get Squirrel Nest, just start generating squirrels, go get Intruder Alarm, combo off. Yeah, so there's going to be some fun stuff there. Yeah, this is like not even remotely squared up at all and has the wrong overlay on it. But we will be doing infinite squirrel things tonight. I'm not expecting to do fantastically well, just because it's basically just infinite squirrels, linear, no interaction. That is how you typically want to play in Modern, but our idea is just going to be a little underpowered. We're going to be Ponza without the hate strategy to it. Love to play first, need to update the records, actually square all that up. Come on, Meow. You can do it. 0-0. And match is also 0-0. Okay, we are all squared up. So this is... Tireless Tracker is one of our transmute targets that we can go get additional card advantage, but this is a turn 2 Drift of Phantasms for Intruder Alarm, Fate Stitcher. Yeah, I mean, these are all the cards that we want to see in our deck, so we can go ahead and hang on to that. I am mildly concerned about some of the new graveyard decks that came out with Modern Horizons, but hopefully we'll play against some people that are just playing with some fun cards like we are. Oh, and we still have the counter all the spells overlay up. Wow, all the struggles today. Alright, Basic Island, and it's from Modern Horizons. So apparently transmuting that is sorcery speed. That's worth noting. Well, as long as the opponent can't interact with us, I'm just going to get the Tireless Tracker out. If they end up using removal on it, that's fine. Next turn, I can Arbor Elf and Drift for Squirrel Nest and kind of just get some stuff going on. This is looking a little bit more like Phoenix at the moment. Alright, that means we can combo off. So, those are some cards that we wanted to see. Given the fact that we have to use this Noble Hierarch as a blue source, I'm a little inclined to do that now, but let's get an attack. If they try to Fork Bolt or something, we can just crack the clue. If not, we can just run our normal game plan, just Arbor Elf and then transmute into Squirrel Nest. Great. All that's fine. Okay, so it's blue-red fairies. All right, I'm okay with that. That does mean that this Fate Stitcher is going to have to put in some work, but hopefully Squirrel Nest will get us more tokens than they get fairies. And first things first, I think we're just on Squirrel Nest. Because like in Snaring Bridge, we're going to have to empty our hand. We're fairly close to that, but they're going to have to leave up an actual hard counter for Squirrel Nest. And if they try to do it, then I've got Drift of Phantasms and Tireless Tracker is actually going to be beating down. I'm so happy. Of note, Squirrel Nest does basically take away one of our mana sources to start creating creatures. It also... Oh, that hurts. Well, they left up blue, which means they could potentially have a Spell Pierce. But we came here to Squirrel Nest, so we're going to Squirrel Nest. Alright then. Ghost Quarter is going to be the worst thing that can happen to us tonight. Just like across the board, do not want to get Ghost Quartered on our Squirrel Nest. Oh, so it's wizards. Alright. That's fair. That means this Drift actually might be getting Ensnaring Bridge after all, especially while they're tapped down. And I have enough mana? Oh, I'm 1 mana shy of casting it. Yay, Squirrels! So transmute for... Alternatively, I can just go get Intruder Alarm and win. This is awkward. I think right now my best line is to cast the Noble and the Fate Stitcher, and then transmute for Intruder Alarm if they tap out again. If they don't, then I can transmute for Ensnaring Bridge and just try to win a longer game. But in the meantime, my Squirrel's getting in for 2, which is basically as much as my opponent's getting in for, so why not? Oh, that was a misplay. I should have nobled first. I knew I was going to noble, but I just missed 1 point of damage. That's awkward. Nope, that guy. Fate Stitcher comes down. We're going to start making some squirrely dudes. And nicely enough, killing Fate Stitcher means that we just get to unearth and actually start comboing from the graveyard, so we're fairly covered with this Fate Stitcher. That 1 extra point is probably going to mean a lot, though, with this Squirrel, because I can attack in with a single creature for 3 damage now, and that would have put them on a 4-turn clock. Alright, Wizard's Lightning to the face is fine. Oh, tap out. Do it! Oh, if I infinite Squirrels this turn... I mean, I can get infinite Squirrels this turn, but I'm not going to win with it. I also get infinite mana, though. Oh, boy. If opponent has a Snapcaster, I'm still dead. Alright, whatever. Let's just go for the combo. If we lose with the combo, I'm still fine with that. So we're going to drift, go grab our Intruder Alarm. We will Intruder Alarm. Hopefully they don't have Force of Negation. They don't. So I get to untap my Forest. We will untap, create a Squirrel, untap, green, green, untap Forest, create a Squirrel, crack the clue. Forbidden Orchard, just another way to generate a token, but we basically whiffed. I was really considering it. There is a 1-mana enchantment that gives everything haste. If I was splashing red, I would actually... Fires is not modern legal, but I would have put in Impact Tremors before giving everything haste. Alright, well, I'm going to cast the Lord just because I can. We have infinite Squirrels, and if it goes to end step, I'll make enough to actually win. Alright, we got our Lord. We're just dead in the air, though. Yeah. Well, we did infinite Squirrels, but it was just a turn too slow. I could have... Oh, I could have tapped down all their creatures. Wow. Well, first time playing this, but Fate Stitcher could have tapped down their creatures, and I could have Forbidden Orchard to get a... Yep. That's 100% a punt. First time running the deck, though. I'm going to have to put a little bit on that. All right, this matchup, Scoos comes in. Narset probably considers coming in. If you're going to be building Living End, mono red and... Yeah, so the mono red Living End that has the red Praetor in it, that makes your opponent's stuff comes in tapped, is really good. But if you're all in on the strategy, like... I guess that actually doesn't work. If you're willing to spend money, I love Goryo's As Foretold. Easily one of my favorite decks. Yeah, I really don't know what to cut here. So Presence of Gond is probably bad. It is a tutor target, another way to start generating tokens, but... And maybe just trim an Ensnaring Bridge, since this likely won't come up much. We went infinite, but we still lost. That's aggravating. Ooh, double Intruder Alarm and a way to untap lands. It's not going to cut it. Free Gemstone Caverns, Squirrel Nest, and a way to untap. This looks great. And a way to go infinite. I'm all on top of that. Oh, wait, we lost. Derp, derp, derp. I'm not on the draw. I really need to start thinking before I start saying some words. Oh, well. So I can Squirrel Nest this turn, then Intruder Alarm and combo. But if opponent... They're not fairies, so they're not actually going to have spell stutter up for the most part. Yeah, I've got to go get a blue source here, so taking a shock. There's nothing I can do if I run out of Intruder Alarm here, so I'm just going to go ahead and Squirrel Nest while they're tapped down. Squirrel Nest can at least get me some attrition going if they counter Intruder Alarm. I probably need something like Duskwatch Recruiter in this deck so I can actually just draw my deck if I start getting infinite mana with Intruder Alarm. Wow, 1 mana. Okay, so they have 2 mana up. I'm putting them on having Negate. So I'm just going to plan on making 2 Squirrels and running out Scavenging Ooze, because next turn I can get through a Spell Pierce at the bare minimum. And they would have lost tempo this turn. Wizard's Lightning on my Arbor Elf is actually slightly awkward here. Just because it's going to require me to draw into another untapped target permanent. Alright, Little Delver, did you flip? They do get to do the trick where they get to look at the top card and then shuffle it away if it's not something they want to draw. Alright, they found a Serum Visions. If they don't cast this, I know they definitely have something in hand. Alright. Honestly, I just prefer to have my combo anyway, so that's fine. Alright, jam something awful. Do it, opponent. I believe in you. Alright. So this should set up for infinite squirrels here. Another squirrel nest isn't terrible. So this is going to be a just basic force, so it can't get fielded. I don't believe that they run field in blue-red wizards, but there's the Intruder Alarm. Make a squirrel. With the trigger on the stack, may as well. Infinite squirrels. Opponent said be right back. Alright, well, I'm going to make an army of squirrels because I can. And unfortunately, I do have to do this now because they have the Grim Lavamancer. So they can kill my Arbor Elf if I start the combo again on their turn. I'm not going to go for token limit. I'm just going to make enough that I can kill them if I untap, which is probably going to be in the ballpark of 22. Odds are they have an Anger of the Gods coming. Do 24, just in case. I guess Forked Bolt, Grim Lavamancer, and a Lightning Bolt are probably within the realm of possibility. Yay, squirrels! Well, so far, out of 2 games, I've gotten infinite twice, so that's pretty good. They haven't started stacking up in groups of 10 yet, so I'm not sure how many I've got. Uh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so one more, and then I'll leave my guys untapped. Now, if they anger here, I'll be really sad. Really, really sad. So opponent did say they'd be right back. I'm not sure how long we should expect to wait. Guess we can take another look at the deck list. So one of the cards that I did actually include in this was Presence of Gond. I don't have a highlight for it. So Midnight Guard and Presence of Gond will make infinite tokens with Intruder Alarm. There's also the green-white, or not the green-white, the white Exert guy that creates tokens. Oracle text exert, create token. So this is a single card that'll actually combo off. So we could easily splash white into this deck and have a pretty well functioning deck, but it just didn't really seem worthwhile. This was kind of just for the fun of creating infinite squirrels here, so figured why not go for it. As much as this actually is just amazing, it exerts itself, it untaps, it exerts, untaps, like just 2-card combo. It didn't seem like it really fit the theme despite working really well. The Midnight Guard is just the creature that untaps whenever another creature enters. So with the Presence of Gaunt, you can just create infinite elf tokens with them. But today's about squirrels. It's just making the infinite squirrels, which we did successfully pull off twice already. I should actually update my match record, be down a game. Opponent stepped away. I am thinking, oh, they're back. I'm thinking they have to have interaction here of some kind. An Echoing Truth would be mean, but honestly wouldn't be too hard to rebuild after. They had Echoing Truth the Squirrels and kill the Arbor Elf. Alright, they just let us have it. Being wizards, I don't really think there's anything else that I want here. I did trim the Presence of Gaunt for the sideboard. Trinisphere is kind of interesting. It'd make all their bolts cost 3, and Snaring Bridge actually might get a little bit more value there. Maybe an Snaring Bridge over a Boltable Kior's Follower. Negate might have a home, but I honestly think that we're just generating creature tokens and they're trying to tap out and do aggressive things. So if Ensnaring Bridge isn't good and we don't combo pretty quickly, I'm not sure if we'll be able to take this, but we are up a match. And, well, sorry, 1-1. Rexade shouldn't really do anything. Tormod's Crypt can be there for Snapcaster, but that's why I brought the Scavenging Oozes in. Just figured that we can win ground battles, gain some life, and stop Snappy Boy. Fate Stitcher being able to get killed and come back and still combo felt relevant. I think the card that you were looking for was Jeskai Ascendancy. Oh, you mean for haste? Yeah. Well, just so opponent's not waiting, I think this is a mulligan. I'd like 2 lands. Wow. So awkward. Doing green things and not doing green things very well. Alright, we are on the slow squirrel nest plan. So CMC equals 1. Type enchantment. Color red. Oracle text haste. This guy from Lorwyn was one I was considering. But I'd probably be on Impact Tremors if that were the plan. Impact Tremors, being able to ping whenever a creature enters, felt relevant. Like I could just kill them and not even need the haste part. I wouldn't need attack triggers. I thought I moved to the next step, but that's alright. Opponent knows we're not doing anything. Windswept isn't really productive here. We have multiple 1-drops, we're just not seeing them. Alright, so it looks like opponent's trying to leave up Spell Stutter Sprite. They could also potentially be trying to V-click me here. Unfortunately, I think I have to run this Squirrel Nest out to get some kind of ferried. So, Spell Stutter Sprite won't hit it unless they flash in 2 fairies, so that actually might be okay. Actually, do I just want to run this out as a creature? Being a 0/5 blocker feels super relevant here. They won't be able to non-creature it. Yeah, this cannot be correct, but I'm going to run that out as an actual creature. I didn't have a force to put the squirrel nest onto. If they do happen to have a counter spell, they have to point it at this terrible spell as opposed to one of the relevant cards in my hand. And this won't die to bolt if it blocks the 1/1. Alright, so that bolt's going to my face, which means that... Means that I probably actually have to block Snapcaster and risk losing my flying blocker. But we had to slow roll the combo. Okay, Scooz is a little bit relevant. Opponent's got up Cryptic mana. I don't believe Wizards actually plays Cryptic. But I think right now my plan is to Grook create a 3/3 token. Grook really can't get countered. Garrett, Grook, whatever his name is. Fairies would only counter something for 2. 2 fairies would be able to hit something for 3. This will make it so that I'm still not getting attacked, as well as kind of put a threat out there. Plus allow me to get an additional untap on my Squirrel Nest if I run it out next turn. Then if he does get countered, I mean, I've still got the combo in hand. I'm on a really tight clock, so it's not likely going to be relevant. Hey, they did bring it in. But at least putting the pressure on the opponent, trying to run out their counter spells. They only have 2 cards in hand, which means they'll probably be cracking this Islet pretty soon. Oh, look at that. They just did it. Well, the Phantasm saved me a decent chunk of life here. So, oh boy. If I draw a land next turn, I could go infinite? No, I'd be 1 mana off. So, I think I want to Cure's Follower here. Try to bait out the Spellstutter spread. I feel like they're holding. And then get the Scavenging Ooze to stick. Scavenging Ooze start eating the graveyard. Feels relevant. Plus would be able to profitably block the Snapcaster in a turn because I'd have a creature to eat. Life total's getting a little bit on the low side, though. Do you have 5 points of burn, opponent? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so currently Squirrel Nest on a land, eat the Cure's Follower. It's looking pretty tempting. Then that means I'm just 1 turn away from winning. Should only be taking 1 in the air next turn. Alright, there's a remand. You got it, opponent. So I'm actually going to block the Spellstutter Sprite on the off chance that they're rocking one of the new ninjas. I probably should have given that some consideration earlier. It's likely not relevant, but... Alright, there's the Lavamancer. Intruder Alarm is going to make Grim Lavamancer really good here. Extra land is pretty solid. So they've got 1 card left in hand. Snapcaster's not going to be very live. I can Squirrel Nest, Arbor Elf, leave up eating the Snapcaster, and untap and win. Well, untap and get infinite squirrels, but I won't win on the spot. All right, squirrel nest down. They're not going to be attacking in with the Grim Lavamancer, so Scoos needs to get some beats in. We need to start turning a corner here if we're going to win the game. And if they have a bolt left, this feels bad, but gaining a life feels relevant, and I'll hit for more. Does turn on their Snapcaster, but they can only hit counter spells and an opt. I'm okay if they opt. Block that. Utopia Sprawl. So a ton of mana is not going to save me anything, but may as well run it out. Got a little bit more green mana going for my Scoos. Grim Lavamancer currently has me on a 2-turn clock. Actually, I think I might just be dead here. Yep, I am. So they're going to shoot me, untap, hit me for 1, and shoot me again. Alright, GG's opponent. We got infinite squirrels twice, but one game was too short. Force of Negation showing some real power there. They were able to stop our squirrel nest twice. So we're able to combo off. Videlkin Ari or whatever it's called, early line of anticipation would have been fringe there. Like, you don't want to board in for those situations. Like, we were just behind because we had lower quality cards and honestly kind of a easier deck, but all right, so this is leaning on the back of the Deep Forest Hermit, but I'm willing to jump on that. This is going to be 4 mana on turn 2, 5 mana on turn 3. Hopefully we draw into one of our 3 drops and can just Noble Hierarch and 3 drop next turn. Alright, looks like Merfolk, which means... oh boy. That means that we have the potential to get Spell Pierced here. But still got to go for it. Hey, look at that. We have the blue mana in hand, so I'm just going to stay green. Then, sure, we'll just Noble and pass. Well, attack, but... alright, beats for 2. If this is just stock Merfolk and they don't have a hard counterspell for my Hermit, that means that we're just going to win on the ground in 3 turns. Alright, and that's just a Lord. I can deal with Lords. At the moment, I don't really want to show them the green. Or the blue, I mean, unless I absolutely have to. So we will just do this. Yay, squirrels! And I have all the mana that I need. It's not likely that they're going to accept this exchange, but I'm going to send Arbor Elf in. Also helps speed up the clock a little bit when I'm swinging by 8, getting them to 16. I guess I probably should have offered that pre-combat, or pre-hermit, but what can you do? Alright, Mutavault can start eating a squirrel. Little unfortunate. Oh, that's great. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They won't have a hard counter. Oh, we're doing squirrel things! Hoof Daddy! Oh, I want to see how much damage that was. So they all were going to get plus 8. So that was at least going to be 49, 56, 57, I think. Okay, so that's what our deck wants to do. I don't think there's anything worth sideboarding here. Narset's kind of in here for control matchups and can also hit most of our combo pieces. I might bring in the Negate. They might be a little bit heavier on the Dispels post board. But that might just be overboarding. What would the negate be over? The negate would probably be over Garuk getting spell pierced, or oh, Presence of God is definitely coming out because they'll try to bounce our creatures. So I don't know. I could probably see an argument for trimming Bridge. Bridge will be good if we go to late game and we actually naturally have islands in our deck. This seems fine. Like, we're pretty optimized for the creature matchup. We're just going to ramp out something really big really fast. Assuming that we have lands. Alright. So, this drift is going to go get me a Squirrel Nest more than likely, since Fate Stitcher can actually keep it going. Third land is not what I'm looking for. I have 4 mana here, so... Alright. Vow comes down. People definitely rocking the new Canopy lands. Hey, there's our Hermit. Never sad to see a Hermit. This time we're getting blue so that we can actually transmute Drift. It's our only double blue thing in the deck. This is probably Silvergill. Nope, Spreading Seas. Well done, opponent. Well done. Alright, well, that's just going to be another Forest and an Arbor Elf. On the plus side, Squirrel Nest actually doesn't care about being a forest like Utopia Sprawl does. Alright, and opponent is currently representing the double blue counterspell. Although it's just a Silvergill revealing a Trickster. So I'm actually expecting Trickster to come down during my upkeep so I can't use Arbor Elf to untap. Either that or with the trigger for Utopia Sprawl on the stack. Yep, there it is. Yep, don't really care. Intruder Alarm. Alright, we'll see if they have another Spreading Seas. This one's actually going to go for green. That might have been a mistake. I just priced myself out of double blue. Oh well. Super awkward draw from our deck. Super awkward. Alright, there's a Lord, so currently looking at 9 damage. 2 cards in hand, though, means minimal interaction. If I actually get my land here, that means that, well, at the very least, Deep Forest Hermit's coming out next turn. If I get my blue land, it means I can drift for Ensnaring Bridge, but I'd have 3 cards in hand and just be dead to the elemental tokens. Or just Ensnaring Bridge itself. So currently have 5 mana, Deep Forest Hermit. All of these are unblockable. Currently looking at 12 unblockable and multiple elementals. So Deep Forest Hermit would actually kind of be a live draw. Alternatively, transmute for, let's take a quick look at the deck list. We'd have Tireless Tracker, doesn't do anything. Trim the Presence of God. Squirrel Nest isn't going to be productive here. Not looking great. So Deep Forest Hermit would have the most blocks, also get rid of the most expensive card in our hand. If we survive, that would mean that we can Ensnaring Bridge. They've already seen this, so we're kind of priced into being able to cast it without giving them more information. And potentially just gives us enough blockers to survive. They have to activate Mutavault or have another Lord. And if they activate Mutavault, I think they only have 1 blocker getting through. Or 1 elemental getting through. I really need a way to get Fate Stitcher into the yard. If I'm going to be running him, being able to discard him seems pretty beneficial. Alright, there's the extra Lord. That's it. All right, hopefully going to be on the play this time, not miss a land drop, not get our Utopia Sprawl messed up. Uh, yeah, I mean, nothing. Maybe Rex Sage to get our green sources back. The damage would be done, and we'd already lose the Utopia Sprawl, though. That just feels like overboarding. It is tutorable with Drift, but just not good enough. This is two of our three combo pieces. Actually has mana. Buys us a little time before having to run out our blue source. Isn't dependent on Arbor Elf. I'm on board. I don't want to draw a fourth land, but I'm not going to get a duel yet. Actually, yeah, I will. We're going to have Island Walk anyway, so may as well. This guy can just be a Kior's follower. Untap another target permanent. Untaps our land with Squirrel Nest or Utopia Sprawl on it. Wow. All right. That felt like an aggressive dismember, but you do you, opponent. So I can just slam a forest and drift for Squirrel Nest. Untap next turn, and Arbor Elf with Ensnaring Bridge have two cards in hand. Opponent's not representing a Trickster and not representing a Harbinger. So they've got counter magic. So I think I'd prefer to use the triggered ability this turn. You cannot counter transmute. You have to stifle it. Go grab my Squirrel Nest. Ship it over. Forbidden Orchard is a unique land in this deck. It basically just puts a creature into play, so it'll untap with Intruder Alarm. It was meant for our Game 1 versus Wizards, where we would be able to tap down their stuff and still be able to untap our creatures, but that didn't quite work. Oh boy, am I supposed to just slam? Yeah, I think I'm slamming right now, so Arbor Elf. Snaring Bridge, so they gotta have an Echoing Truth. I need to get a little bit more accustomed to the fact that they might have Force of Negation in hand. Thassa is going to allow them to scry every turn and make one creature unblockable. Alright. That seems like an odd choice, but sure. Alright. The double dismember draw from Merfolk. No wonder we're not dead yet. Alright, well, I guess we're just on kind of run it back. I actually think I'm going to lead on Intruder Alarm here. No. Oh, yeah, I have to. I don't have green available anymore because of the Spreading Seas. Do you have the Force of Negation, opponent? Apparently you do not. Alright, and Snaring Bridge is starting to get some work in now. If they drop a Lord, that's basically all they'll ever be able to attack with at the moment. Okay, that doesn't do anything with Intruder Alarm. Ooh, do I care about Utopia Sprawl? I think I do. It's essentially free. If they cut me off of my next green source, that's unfortunate, but... And Squirrel Nest the island. Why not? No! I knew that too! Oh, I totally knew that too. There's my punt. Alright, whatever. Wow. Alright. I'm feeling a little tilted on that one. I knew that. I 100% knew that. I just got distracted not wanting to send the squirrel nest over to the forest that had the Utopia sprawl on it. Alright, well, whiffed on an infinite combo. That is most unfortunate. Sure, why not? Get a little bit of mana back. Alright, yeah, tap down my squirrel. That will just untap with Intruder Alarm. Perfectly okay. Opponent is acting like they boarded in Echoing Truth. Or some way to bounce the Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, Breeding Pool does nothing. Let's go ahead and empty the hand for Ensnaring Bridge. Opponent could possibly be on the idea that they can still draw a Spreading Seas and get rid of our green mana and potentially choke us there, but we end up running a ton of forests, 7 forests. Yeah, that's fine. You do you, opponent. We will find a fetch land or a forest before too long. And may as well make a squirrel. And untaps my other one, puts out a couple of blockers if I do whiff. Oh, I have green over here. Oh my gosh. I am apparently not in the right mindset here. Alright, so I can attack with my squirrels as 2/2s, but with opponent having an active Thassa, that really doesn't do anything. I do get to make a lot of squirrels, though. If opponent gives me too long, I'll have enough squirrels that like it doesn't matter that they bounce my Ensnaring Bridge. They are finding their Spreading Seas. Alright, makes it just harder for the Biomancer to attack, but they do get a loot. Yeah, Aether Vial isn't doing them anything productive. Alright, second bridge gets around just about everything but Echoing Truth. Opponent didn't leave up the mana to counter. Yay, a standstill! Crater Hoof also gets significantly worse now. Opponent has actually gotten pretty low because of the Canopy land. Alright, Master of Waves. Sure. You get a lot of tokens. Oh, the triggers! This is so sad that if I would have put that on a forest, I would have won turns ago. Apparently had another Dismember. Nope, just another Merfolk to drop. Keeping my hand empty. So many punts today. So many punts. I'd love a Tireless Tracker. That's probably my best draw right now. Or just another Squirrel Nest and way to untap it. Alright, you have 4 Spreading Seas, opponent. I still have a ton of green mana. Welcome back. I punted this game and put my squirrel nest on an island with an arbor elf out. Not one of my brighter moments. Well, found part 2 of the combo. So something like, oh, Fate Stitcher would be the best. They either have to counter it or kill it and do it twice. Opponent's running out of time, though. Like, even if they bounce my Ensnaring Bridge, they don't necessarily have lethal. In fact, I don't see a Lord. Yeah, they don't even have Island Walk yet. Okay, so they do have a Lord in hand. Oh, it's the same one that they revealed on, like, turn 3. Yep, more Lootermancers. Come on, Fate Stitcher! I believe in you! Hey, look at that! That's a card. My 4 blue sources. Yep. So this means that unless they can bounce and Snaring Bridge this turn, we're still going to win, despite my punt. All right, loot away, friend. Looting means you don't have it yet. If we untap, we also have infinite mana, which is worth noting. Yep, Aether Vial's not going to do much. Alright, so I'm still going to make the Squirrels. Same logic of, like, if something were to happen to Fate Stitcher, I'll at least have more stuff on the field. But now we get to untap, go to their end step, and just get infinite Squirrels. So the Squirrels can't attack this turn, which is why I'm not doing it now. But even if they can bounce our Ensnaring Bridge at this point, it means that I can create infinite blockers. I guess their Lord would make that a little hard to get around. They would have lethal with their Lord. Alright, there's a Silvergill revealing the same Lord. Another Silvergill, which means now they need to have a land in the bounce spell. Alright. Tap or untap and save targets. May as well do the island. Whatever. I did that out of sequence. This one will create a squirrel. Wow, the misclicks are real. Yes. Create a squirrel. Alright, there we go. Infinite squirrels. We did take a game. Currently 1-1. Interesting enough, this hasn't been awful, although we're really leaning on the back of that Ensnaring Bridge. If we're slow to combo off, it just does not work out. The Hermit into Craterhoof actually was a pretty decent strategy, though. Like, we get enough mana untapping our lands with Utopia Sprawl on them that, like, Craterhoof is easily castable. I think we cast on turn 4 last game. Last match, whatever the verbiage is. Oh, this is so slow. I think we can do better. 5 lands basically means that this is a 5-card hand and can't do anything until turn 3. This is scry into a land and be a very happy person. Okay. I'm on board. So this hand goes infinite on turn 3, but it doesn't win until turn 4. Little slower through Thalia, but okay, so this looks like White Weenie. This is probably using the new force as an anthem effect. This sequencing best leads us to a Utopia Sprawl draw. Alright, I guess we'll see if opponent kept a one-lander. If they did, I might just Intruder Alarm set their creature one on tap. Nope, there it is. Alright, well, still mildly slow. Hey, look at that. We're so good at this game. You ended up adding red for the mass hysteria? Alright, raise the alarm's fine. Yeah, Tremors does seem like the better pick there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and Utopia Sprawl here. I'm going to add blue. And I'm just going to Intruder Alarm. It feels like it's so much better. They're still just going to untap and hit me. Yeah, it feels better. At least this way, if I set up a Squirrel Nest, I can go infinite next turn, so... Opponent basically has to kill me here or put out a couple of Lingering Souls tokens that are 8/8s. They have the Ghost Quarter? Alright, so I need a land? Actually, I'll still have 3 mana for Squirrel Nest. But a land would make me go infinite here. Wow. Rip Ghost Quarter. It's like they knew some people would be trying to play Squirrels for fun. Oh, I can't go infinite until they play another creature. Alright, this time putting it on the forest. I did learn my lesson. Rector, you're seriously going to have to let me know how that goes because I was on the fence of adding white for the faster combo pieces like the Vizier and the Midnight Guard, or if I should add red for impact tremors. Burn might be a little hard because you have to have a creature that untaps. And they can just burn it. Although if they're burning your creatures, they're probably winning. Alright, opponent just set themselves up to lose. Yeah, burning your Arbor Elf feels like a way to definitely lose here. Alright, well apparently the salt is real because opponent is making me play out the infinite combo. But, we went infinite. You ghost quartered my... I honestly don't even know how to respond to that. Like, I'm playing Infinite Squirrels. It's a 3-card combo that relies on a 1/1 creature. And it's Squirrels. Like, how do I even respond to that? Is this concession? Nope. Alright, opponent's still making me do it. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 20. That's 21. Opponent has a 2/2 lifelinker. They're not even F6ing, so I can just click through it. The salt is super real. If I had the ability to slam this Deep Forest Hermit, I'd feel more confident stopping at 20. But they have a 2/2 lifelinker, 4, 5 blockers, as well as potentially the white anthem effect, and the white anthem effect will make them gain an additional life. So I'm just going to be a little cautious and go up to around 30. This is 23. Intruder Alarm isn't a new combo either. Like, this has been around for a while. Like I said, I excluded a couple of optimal pieces so that I could do Squirrels. But if opponent wants to be salty, opponent can be salty. They're actually going further down on time than I am watching me combo, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 26. Still not quite there yet. Squirrels, man, they're coming from the trees. I seriously don't understand how opponents going further down on clock than I am. I think they're just trying to drag this out. At least they haven't done the just AFK for 10 minutes. That's happened to me a couple of times. I mean, I'm making Squirrels. I'm happy. It's not the best TV, but I'm happy. More Squirrels, dude. More Squirrels. We need them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 32. I'll keep going. If opponent wants to drag this out, we can drag this out. If they're holding Black Force and just destroy all the creatures that enter the battlefield this turn, that means I'll have to combo off again. All right, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 36 minus 1. That's 35. That should be fine. Then this is 4 mana, so not top decking a land means I don't have the Lord, but attack with all. Mr. Arbor Elf, you stay back. I need you to generate more Squirrels. Yeah, a 3-card combo that requires a landed enchantment and a 1/1 creature is not that broken. People just need to play a little more interactive decks. Bullet would have stopped this pretty easily. Same with Disenchant or Ghost Quarter, which they stopped. They just took the mana instead of the actual creature. Opponent asked how the hell they got haste. I did it in his instep. Alright, so opponent is on tokens. This Trinisphere is looking really tempting. Rex Sage for their enchantments is probably a requirement. Opponent's going to have Path, so Presence probably needs to come out. This is so much better with Midnight Guard, but this is in here as a single tutor target off the Drift of Phantasms, so that I can still combo off if for whatever reason I can't use my lands. I mean, I have multiple things that untap my lands and untap with Intruder Alarm, but if I need to tutor for it, I can tutor for it. Um, Trim is probably just going to be Garrick. He's a little too slow. Or maybe just a single Bridge. I can still tutor for Bridge, and Bridge loses a lot of value versus 1/1s. If they get the stupid busted Leyline starts, then Bridge will be a little bit more helpful, but I don't think I need to play around my opponent's nut draws. I probably should have taken out some number of Forbidden Orchards, just because that'll give them a token and they can actually make their tokens better. But we are up a game versus mono white tokens. This has 0 lands. This is great. So this is going to be scry into a land, but a turn 2 Squirrel Nest. Opponent's mulling to 5, so they must be looking for their ley lines. Garruk's not the best here, but whatever. Misty's great. Gemstone Cavern. So I'm kind of thinking here that I want to get rid of the Crater Hoof just because Ensnaring Bridge doesn't interact very well, making all my creatures giant. I should be able to infinite combo them fairly easily, so it just makes sense that I'd be able to attack with a bunch of 1/1s and not care. All right, more opponents trying out the Horizon Canopy land. So they are at least mildly black. My opponent's getting a little salty on making infinite squirrels, so I'm not really sure who's better off. So that is actually probably worth noting. My Rex Sage needed to come in at least as a 1-up for Sorceress Spyglass. So that should be in the back of my mind for any deck that's probably trying to play like a Pithing Needle plan, is at least have one tutor target for that. He probably has to name Squirrel Nest, but this Garrett Garruk is going to be a problem for him, especially if I start emptying my hand to this Ensnaring Bridge. It does make a little bit more sense now that my opponent didn't scoop, given the fact he didn't know my Squirrels would be attacking him while he was tapped out. He probably had a Wrath of God in hand. Alright, opponent's still trying to figure out what to do. He does name the Squirrel Nest. Fate Stitcher, that makes you a little awkward, buddy. So I can slow roll my Ensnaring Bridge. I'm assuming he had Disenchant in the side. That just makes sense. Alternatively, I can just run out Squirrel Nest and try to bait out like a Ghost Quarter this early. I'm just going to Ensnaring Bridge. Yep, opponent, you get a token. That should make you pretty happy. You make it too big, though, he can't attack. Tangible Virtue making that a 2/2 and Vigilance is super awkward for our strategy. And that is a Drift of Phantasm. So I think I'm going to Squirrel Nest here. And I'm going to do it on the land that gives my opponent tokens since they're a token strategy. I understand I can't untap it with my Arbor Elf, but I have a Fate Stitcher in hand, so I'm not overly concerned with that one. Oh, opponent didn't even do this right. Naming Squirrel Nest doesn't matter because Forbidden Orchard's going to be the one tapping for the squirrel. Okay, so I'm a turn away from comboing now? That seems like a punt. I should have caught that faster. It's like naming Thespian Stage. You have to name whatever land it's currently copying. Alright, that's the virtue. So I think I might be running out Fate Stitcher if I get a land. I don't. So I can transmute Drift to Phantasms. Alternatively, I can just make a Squirrel and run out Noble Hierarch and then try to... If I get a land, I can win next turn? That seems fine. Oh no, because I won't have a way to actually start untapping my land. Noble Hierarch's just a mana dork. So, Noble Hierarch, chump block, draw land, Garuk, make a Squirrel. Actually, that'd be 2 squirrels if I draw a land. It would be 1 squirrel if I don't. If I empty my hand of an additional card, though, then that means that an additional Anthem effect won't kill me, which is probably what I just need to plan on, and I want to use this to actually transmute, so that's probably fine. Opponent's also not aware of the fact that the Squirrel Nest is still active, so... Oh, my gosh, I was counting with the Noble Hierarch already on the table. Yeah, so another Anthem kills me here. I guess it puts me at 1, where I have to chump block with Noble Hierarch. Yeah, these spirits are going to kill me. Waiting for the message from opponent. That shouldn't have worked! Oh boy, Spectral Procession. Utopia Sprawl. I don't think Utopia Sprawl solves anything. So I can Garuk, untap. Actually, I can Utopia Sprawl, Garuk, untap, have 2 mana, 3 mana. I need to do it to at least get a card out of my hand. But I think I'm just a turn too slow again. We're going to call green. This is going to give them an additional creature. But... Okay, this will make it so that they at least can't attack, so that's fine. So let's untap that guy, and this one, I don't want to give them another spirit yet. We get to cast the Defender Flyer again. Oh my gosh, it's so awkward. But now opponent can't attack with anything, which is relevant. Then I need to find an Intruder Alarm or another Drift, and I can get my infinite combo and just swing back for lethal. I also haven't seen any black out of opponent's deck yet. Alright, so this is 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana. Hardcast Fate Stitcher. Gonna create a Squirrel. Opponent won't be able to attack. I'll be able to untap. Oh, Path actually does... Okay. Gonna have to wait a minute on that one then. Do you want another green source though? Then untap these two guys. And I'm 2 pieces away from comboing them. In the meantime, opponents shouldn't be able to attack unless they actually find a noble hierarch of their own. They're not going to have one. I was being a little playful. Alright, so that Anthem can get around Bridge if they can attack. But they have to have 0 X's in their deck. Alright, cycling has begun. Really does help with the reach of the deck. But I'm going to have a lot of squirrels. Alright, so that's definitely a start. What does that actually mean to me, though? So if I drift, I'm thinking I actually might want to pick up Tireless Tracker. But that means I'd run it out and not get a clue. So, did I trim the Presence of Gond? I did. I guess that wouldn't have helped. Nope, that doesn't work like that. So blue, let's transmute. Oddly enough, I kind of want to get a second squirrel nest. That can't be right, but I kind of want to. I think my plan right now is just to take the Intruder Alarm and run it out. So, make a squirrel. Opponent also needs to figure out what F6 value is. Also, starting to tap my Noble Hierarch here because I can untap that for free. I'm entering the realm of infinite mana when I actually get my infinite squirrels. And I suppose we'll see if they brought in Disenchant. If they did, it's got to go towards the Ensnaring Bridge, but I should have enough blockers at that point that... I don't know, I'd actually die in the air. Wait, is this sorcery speed? It is. So I take that back. Chef of Dooms won't get around my Ensnaring Bridge. For some reason, I thought they could declare attackers and then activate, but that's not how that works. Alright, I am also entering the realms of being able to hardcast the Emrakul in the deck. So, green, green. 1. Squirrel Nest you. Diversify my threats in case I find another Sorcerous Spyglass. Create a squirrel. I probably just need to hold priority so I can get my F6 value in myself. Yeah, it's always yield. Potentials for misclicks in the future, but who really cares? I need to get through this a little bit faster. Opponent slow rolling everything is making this kind of painful to get through. Alright, another land means that we're not really in threat here unless they had a 5-drop. Nope. Don't know why you do that. Telegraph you're not doing something when... Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, well, that was a punt. But that's fine. I exiled my Crater Hoof, didn't I? I did. So if I save the Wreck Sage, that means that I can blow up the Ensnaring Bridge after I lord my Squirrels, but that doesn't really feel worthwhile. I can't imagine they have anything along the lines of Academy Ruin, so just to get it out of my hand, I'm probably going to run out Wreck Sage now and blow up the Sorcerer's Spyglass. It's not doing anything. If they find a way to buy it back, then whatever, shame on me, but and of note that Rex Sage could have been free by untapping the Noble Hierarch with each of the Squirrel Nest triggers. Oh, I could have overrun. Alright, if opponent finds a way to get out of this, this was my bad. I was supposed to Rex Sage the Ensnaring Bridge and overrun Garrick. But in the meantime, here we are. I'm starting to round the point that I should be able to start attacking with my Squirrels. The Deranged Hermit reprint, the Deep Forest Hermit, means I need to have 2 cards in my hand, so I might want to start holding 1 as a filler. Alright. So that just kills me. So they have Sundering Growth, which means I'm probably bringing my negates in. Yeah, that was a punt. I should have taken that game. Again, I'll give it to myself. If I would have blown up the Ensnaring Bridge and then overrun, would have been an easy win there. Trims. I actually think I want the other Ensnaring Bridge in the deck. Probably cutting a Kior's Follower. He did some work, but 4 mana is just a little awkward and can also be Sorcerer Spyglass. And maybe just one of the awkward mana dorks. Opponent is on token, so it's mildly slower unless they start off with all their ley lines. Trinisphere still seems mildly relevant. Yeah, that all seems fine. Opponent's probably on Lingering Souls. It's probably what the black's for. Oh boy, I don't think I can keep that. Well, I mean, it's playable. Scry into a land? Scry into a land. So, starting on Utopia Sprawl here is interesting, but if opponent just leads on Ghost Quarter, they're going to shuffle our land away, so I'm going to lead on Noble. Also, I can use Utopia Sprawl to be mana neutral, where Noble Hierarch should just be able to untap and give me mana. Unless they push it. I don't know. I have seen no block out of them. It's safe to assume they have Lingering Souls, but you never want to path a mana dork. It literally does nothing. Alright, so going to get a blue source here. Utopia Sprawl. We have 2 blue sources here, but we also have the Drift in hand. So this is actually probably going to be for green. If I do blue now, I can Drift, but that doesn't seem relevant. Whatever. This is fine. The argument is if they kill my Noble Hierarch, I wanted another blue source. Turn 2 Ensnaring Bridge with 2 cards in hand is perfectly in the realm of acceptable. I'd love a fetch land. Make it so I can start multi-spelling and also get a couple of clues to crack if I fall behind. Alright, guess not. Go get a Squirrel Nest, start getting chump blockers, just run out Tireless Tracker, have it eat the removal. Opponent's leaving up Path here. Drift can be multiple pieces, and I have to take at least 1 more draw before my next turn, so I think I'm just going to run out Tireless Tracker here with Noble Hierarch. It's unfortunate not getting the clue back, but if he passed me into a land, like, that feels acceptable. Again, not going for amazing here, going for survive until I can infinite squirrel combo, because I don't care if I win or lose, but I do want a squirrel combo. Tireless Tracker not even being able to attack feels relevant here. Alright, there's 1/1s. If I draw a land, I can empty my hand. Nope, I draw that dude. Alright, well, that's my combo, so I'm going to be taking beats for a turn while I transmute this into a Intruder Alarm. Next turn I get an Intruder Alarm and hopefully slam a Mana Dork, untap, and then get Drifted Phantasms transmuted again. Means I'm taking beats for an extra turn, but we're only here because I misplayed. Dismember? Spectral Procession. Land means I could just run out the hard drift and opponent would be on killing my bridge again. I think I'm better off just going for the infinite combo, taking my beats for 6 next turn. They do flip a Danto, which is relevant. It's a lot more expensive than Squirrel Nest, but... oh boy, another uncastable thing. Alright, here we go. Intruder Alarm. Take beats for 6. And then I might be trying to empty my hand next turn. It's also possible they just have the new white force and they'll just Anthem after they attack and I die. They can untap all their creatures by putting a token into play. Alright, they don't have the answer. They can still cast the white force here, though. I accept my beats for 3. I'll take them honorably. Oh boy, another Intruder Alarm. Alright, so 2 mana, untap, get 2 more mana. I can go down to a single card in hand, but that would put their spirits out. I think I'm just on empty my hand and hope that they don't untap. If they do untap, then they untap. Another Intruder Alarm, though, means I'm going to be able to generate 4 mana by untapping my Noble Hierarchs next turn if I run out this Rex Age. Alright. Let's see if they get there. Another reason that the Intruder Alarm decks don't do very well is it does depend a lot on seeing your right combo pieces. Like, the drifts make it kind of okay, but trying to sit behind this Ensnaring Bridge is just super awkward right now. It's also probably correct for opponent to get in with their 2 lifelinkers. I'm only going to be able to block 1 profitably. Oh, you have it this time? Alright, they have it. Unlucky runnings there. It's super sad because that was the game where the opponent was being super salty and actually made us play out our combo, but what can you do? We are playing an awkward deck that is infinite Squirrels. Overall, though, we've had pretty decent running. I should have taken that. If I would have actually Rex Aged into Overrun, we would have won that. So, I mean, that's a spiritual win. I'm just not familiar enough with blowing up my own, and it wasn't an obvious line to blow up my own ensnaring bridge to Overrun. But lots of possibilities there. Also, if we were running things like the White Exert token creator, we'd probably be better off. All right, this is oh boy, that's so close. If this were another land, this would be pretty close to the nuts. I think I need to mulligan to a mana dork though. It just doesn't have enough to actually go off. All right, this is significantly better. So the squirrel nest here means a lot of squirrels. Otherwise, Garrick is threatening a lot. We have multiple mana dorks, like our turn one is probably going to be Arbor Elf in case we top deck a Utopia Sprawl. Although we'll see our top deck. Followed by a Noble Hierarch and a Kiora's Follower, and then we could even Deep Forest Hermit if we draw into him. So that's fine. And Intruder Alarm is a combo piece, so that's going on top. Oh, we don't have green on turn one. Whatever, that's fine. We're going to shuffle it away anyway. I am just going to get a basic forest here. Honestly, if opponent takes a turn to bolt the bird, it's fine. We're going to look a little bit more like Ponza or potentially Temur Valakut, but, oh, it's humans. And they're on the Vile Start. Ooh, Squirrel Nest. Okay, so I think I actually have to fire that off before they can kite sell it away because I don't have interaction. So, mildly a slow start, but being able to generate squirrels should be able to block on the ground for a while, and we're one piece away from infinite squirrels. If I find a mana source next turn, I can also Garrett Garuk as well as create squirrels. This is what our deck wants to do. Actually, it just wants to top deck an Intruder Alarm and a mana source, but we're close. We're really close. Oh boy. And our only green source is pinching us off of these colors if we're going to make squirrels. Alright, well, Kite Cell comes down, takes the Wild Speaker. Aether Vial is probably going to drop down a Champion or a Noble Hierarch. Okay, so Champion's coming down now. Yep. Good play from opponent. Stacking it this way, they both get a counter. Fate Stitcher. Alright, I think I have to get down something that can produce mana, and something that can produce mana or a squirrel seems better. Do I just dump all my mana out? Yeah. Sorry, squirrels, we're taking a turn off. The opponent is lining up their aggressive play, so we need to take a turn off so that we'll be ready if we draw an Intruder Alarm. Right now, Intruder Alarm does equal both infinite mana as well as infinite squirrels. And with nothing with Trampler flying, we can actually chump block 2 creatures a turn. Opponent's trying to meddling mage me. They want to know what we're playing. Sneaky, sneaky opponent. I'm assuming Craterhoof is the first name. It's also possible that they name like the Green Finale or Garnt. Okay, that's a fair assumption. I actually did consider him. I just pinged opponent. I had also accepted Abandon Reason, but apparently they want to go for something that's potentially in our deck. know what to do with myself. Alright, so green, green, 1. Green. Karuk. Way to untap that Fate Stitcher would be, or to cast the Fate Stitcher would be pretty appealing here. All right, Meddling Mage 2. What does he name? Tooth and Nail. All right, that's actually a really good call. That was another one on my list. I was looking at this Emrakul and was thinking add red for Impact and Xenagos for Tooth and Nail, but I just want to go linear into the infinite Squirrels. We're so close. So we get a chump block, the 2/4/4s. Garuk Garrick is probably dying, but if that's his fate, that's his fate. Alright, well, that means Squirrels are coming out. Top decking an Intruder Alarm is still just lethal, though. That's all I'm really looking for in life. So if this is going face because it is lethal, I can just chump block these two guys. Oh, wow. They're getting big. Opponent's doing big things. Meddling Mage naming Squirrel Nest is actually going to completely shut down our strategy. Opponent should send these at Garrick. Maybe the additional damage hit me is worthwhile. Oh well, I am just negating as much of this as humanly possible. I can still make 3 Squirrels, which is a decent blocking capacity for our deck. And Noble does not do anything overly productive. So, Noble off of that. Won't be able to cast a Kiyora's Follower. Alternatively, I can Fate Stitcher and create a Squirrel. Fate Stitcher die, and Earth is still going to be pretty close to lethal. Alright, I'm actually thinking it's just a lot of Squirrels. Only thing we can do at this point. Because, yep. I want to create a beast. Is creating a beast better than creating a squirrel? It sounds like it, but then I can't overrun and win out of nowhere. Yeah, whatever. 3/3 means that he can't attack in with the Reflector Mage or the Meddling Mage, and he only has 1 card in hand, which means he's running out of gas. So, that seems fine. I probably should have done that the first time around. Been super pinched on mana, though. Come on, Intruder Alarm, off the top. I believe in you. Horizon Canopy's a redraw. You do you, opponent. No Reflector Mages, please and thank you. Phantasmal Image. Oh, another Meddling Mage. Alright, naming Wild Speaker. So that does shut off our other Wild Speaker, but honestly, just want the Intruder Alarm. That's all I want. This is probably a lost cause as it is, because we, like, Meddling Mage on one of our win conditions shuts this down pretty hard. Alright, Mantis Rider's live. Mantis Rider can kill our Planeswalker. Probably a reason to go for a Squirrel over a Beast, but now these guys can't get in. At least not well. Oh, it's all going at me? That's fine. Alright, let's make a Squirrel. I believe in you, Squirrels. Just go out and be a distraction. I could just see the battlefield right now. Like, Thalia's Lieutenant is over there playing with a Squirrel while a battle's going on. That'd be hilarious. Alright, so I am afraid of Phantasmal Image, so I'm going to kill the Reflector Mage here. That does tell opponent that Karn's not in our deck, but that doesn't really feel like valuable information at this point. I am taking 5, which means that this is getting a little risky. But like, Overrun's going to be 6, 9, 12, 14 damage. Yeah, we're not getting there yet. Hey, look at that. We actually drew some mana. That's impressive. Our deck is actually giving us mana. Well, awkwardly enough, I think that just means we're hardcasting Cure's Follower as a ground blocker. Get to make another beast, which makes ground combat a little bit more complicated. Still get to make 2 chump blockers for the 2 big things, which means that I'm currently taking 5 damage, if I'm reading that correctly. Actually, I probably could have cast Fade Stitcher here if I untapped, but having a 3/3 means I'm actually going to kill stuff on the ground. Opponent's likely just going to get in with a Mantis Rider for 4 next turn. So that seems fine. We're basically on 1 turn to top deck Intruder Alarm. Or a Phantasmal Drift. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Alpha or Mantis? Alright, opponent is respecting the Tooth and Nail. So, make our little chump blockers. Apparently the Champion and Thalia are both Squirrel fans. Eat you, eat you. Forbidden Orchard. Just lovely. Alright, I don't want to show opponent any more of our deck. Being able to create 4 squirrels a turn is cute, but we don't have anything for the flyer. So, let's go ahead and go on to game 2. Opponent does have a couple of things to name with Meddling Mage, but they still haven't really seen our win condition. Rex Sage doesn't hit anything. Narset's not really going to stop anything. Hurkyl's Recall can pick up a Vial, but that's about it. Skoo's eating their creatures and gaining some life is about the only thing I'm excited about here. This just feels like horrible, horrible matchup. Bridge can protect us, which means that they need to board in Knight of the Autumn from the side, or Deputy of Detention. I know some of those have been hit sideboards for humans recently. I don't know what they've done for Horizons, but it's a pretty safe bet to say they're still in there. Opponent has seen this and shown that they're willing to name it with a Meddling Mage, so I can trim one of those guys, and then probably just the presence of Gaunt. Reflector Mage makes that horrible. This would have been so much better with Midnight Guard, but it was just an alternate way to get infinite tokens. Like, these are else, but it meant that if for whatever reason we couldn't count on our lands, we could actually do this, and it's tutorable with Drift. We are currently down a match versus humans. Deep Forest Hermit can show some explosive starts here. Craterhoof can definitely go over the top. Emrakul's just cute. So, like, there's a meme out there for for a little while, I even had Cryptolith right, so I could use 15 squirrels to make an Emrakul. But it ended up just putting 1 in the deck. I technically do get infinite mana, so this is probably better off with something along the lines of like I'm not red, but Banefire is probably appropriate in this slot. But it just felt cute to put 15 squirrels in a deck with Emrakul. It just felt super memey. Also, Banefire doesn't really work, so I would have had to look for something with green X in the cost. I guess Genesis Wave would have been decent, but with Ensnaring Bridge, that's also awkward because of Craterhoof and lording our squirrels, but just a standard Intruder Alarm deck with the added Arbor Elf ramp package and squirrels, you know, just doing all the fun stuff. Modern Horizons has opened up Squirrel Dealer to Squirrel Week. Going to be doing squirrel decks all week long. Coming up on, actually tomorrow, is going to be Green-White Flicker using Astral Slide with Deep Forest Hermit. and a couple of like cycling lands. Life from the Low, I'm going to be flickering, getting a ton of squirrels. Where this is just all in, we don't really interact with our opponent. We just try to get infinite squirrels. Something like Meddling Mage is just going to be horrible for us. We hit top decks versus mildly interactive decks like that Black-White's Token deck. Next one should be a little bit more interactive, more grindy. Alright, so opponents go into turns. I think they're trying to figure out what could potentially be in our deck. Sorry, not turns. They used up all their sideboard time. I'd love to play first. And, alright. These are cards I like to see. This is a turn 2 Intruder Alarm, turn 3 Tireless Tracker with Fetch Land. Never going to pass that up. We do technically have one more land than I'd probably care to see, but we do have our Singleton Tireless Tracker to get our clues back. Alright, opponent, show me what you got. Just don't turn 2 Meddling Mage Squirrel Nest me, please. That'll make me all kinds of sad. Alright, back on their Vile start. Ooh. I actually don't think that Arbor Elf changes anything. So, this should tell them exactly what we're doing. Which, never happy about, but we slam the Intruder Alarm and we potentially just top deck infinite squirrels, so that's our plan. Hopefully opponent isn't on Meddling Mage. Or hopefully they're on Kite Cell, because Kite Cell look at our hand and not hit anything seems pretty good here. Another reason we have to slam the Intruder Alarm is just get it out of our hand. Opponent's reading Intruder Alarm. So those of you not familiar with this, this is just creatures don't untap during their untap step. Whenever a creature enters, untap all creatures. It's used in a lot of combo decks, but there's no other card like it, so we don't get our copies 5 through 8, which makes this deck mildly awkward. Alright, no Squirrel Nest. No Meddling Mage naming Squirrel Nest. Don't do it, opponent. We want to have fun here. We still have hopes and dreams. They're definitely thinking it over. Be cool, opponent. Be cool. No! Don't do it! Okay, okay. We're safe, guys. We're safe. We still have a chance to do this. This is noble, more than likely. Oh, a champion? That should have come down first so it would grow. Oh boy. Okay, I can't go infinite, right? So I'm gonna... This is currently representing an additional mana with the Arbor Elf. So the Arbor Elf is just free here. Alright, so we're going to slow roll this for a turn so that I can actually go get Squirrel Nest and go infinite at the same turn and not have opponent know we have one in hand in case they have a second Meddling Mage or a Phantasmal Image. So that's going to untap the Arbor Elf. We got to make a land drop. Then I got to untap this Forest. Free Arbor Elf. Then I'm going to have 2 mana to crack the clue, and that means opponent cannot attack in with the Meddling Mage this turn. They are currently tapped out, though, so I'm just going to go get my clue now, and I do need my second blue source. That's going to be a breeding pool. Alright. Not a bad start. Like, that's a pretty fantastic turn 3, in my opinion. We also look a little bit more like a value deck, so hopefully naming things with Meddling Mage is going to get a little bit worse. Them popping the Vial here is actually super important to my strategy for... Oh, I should have untapped. If I would have untapped there and they play another creature, I can crack both clues. Reflector Mage. Fair enough. Always yield. Always yield. Always yield. Yeah, so that was a mistake, but we should go infinite next turn, so it's a little hard to get upset about that one. Although I might be 1 point off with this Thalia. I should probably do the math. Mana Dork would actually net me enough mana to go off next turn. Or that is... Oh! That's a punt. Alright, Utopia Sprawl. Oh, that's not free anymore. It's still going to net me mana, though. We're going to say blue because I need double blue here. We get 2 mana. Got to untap the Forest. Scavenging Ooze comes out, untaps my Arbor Elf. That means I get 7 mana. And we're doing it! Transmute. Yep, I needed to leave double green up. Get Squirrel Nest. Squirrel Nest. Oh! Because of the Thalia, that's going to be 1 turn too slow. Oh well. If any creature enters the battlefield, I get to untap with my Arbor Elves and immediately go off, so that seems fine. And opponent shouldn't be able to kill me here. They're going to be swinging in for 6. We get to do the thing again! I'm doing this as good form. If they put a creature in, then it just untaps my Arbor Elf, so I actually have mana. If they don't, I can just Squirrel Nest and untap my Arbor Elves again. Alright, so I'm taking 6, but I'm going to win now, so that's fine. Yay, infinite squirrels! So I think that's 6 times tonight. It might be 5. Opponent just said I see it now. This is also infinite mana. I'm just drawing the card to see if there's actually something better here for me to combo off with. Like, if there's an Emrakul, I'll just quick hand it, but since there's not, I guess I get to do infinite squirrels. Who needs Earthcraft? We have Intruder Alarm. And the squirrels are setting off the alarm. Okay, that's a little more flavorful than I was expecting it to be. I don't know why people keep making us click through it, though. Especially because we have a redundant piece to get through misclicks, but whatever. People will be people. We're playing a combo deck. Makes sense that we have to click through it. If anybody in chat has counted my squirrels and wants to give me an update, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, I'm kind of just going to go overkill. Opponent did actually F6 this time, so shouldn't be that bad. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and overkill, so let's do like 5 more. Do 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 do. All right, and then last one's going to be so that Scoos can eat the Phantasm. Oh, look at that. Redundant squirrel nest. Actually, no, I don't want to run that out. Besides, I don't like playing with my food unless I absolutely have to. Opponent knew about the tireless tracker, so I was going to run it out, but they're tapped out. They could technically have a force of negation, I guess. I mean, it's not likely, but they could technically have it. But infinite squirrels! Alright, meow. I've got 35. You got 6 blockers. None of which have lifelink. And opponent's got to have another Mantis Rider for us to be dead in the air on the backswing. I'm not sure why opponent paused. They must not have any upkeep stops, so this must be their first stop, and they probably stepped away when I was making squirrels. Alright, opponent, anytime now. I just made 35 squirrels and I'm up on clock still. It's always fun when that happens. But that's the price I pay when I need to diddle myself. Little diddle diddle. This is when having like an editing team would probably be pretty good. Is just like skip through that or like fast forward it 4 times. Like this is kind of just like a side thing I'm doing for fun, so I don't have time to go through and edit the videos. But it'd still be pretty nice. Just like, okay, we did our combo. Opponent sat there for a minute. Like this is life, meow. Like if I knew opponent was going to be away, I probably would have ran out the tireless tracker and seen what I drew into. No point in attacking with the Scoos. The Arbor Elf is a combo piece. But the squirrels are coming from the trees, man. They're coming. Just need an overrun to be back in Odyssey block. But I couldn't cast my Garrick. Alright, does this change anything? Again, Trinisphere is the only card that looks somewhat interesting. We could put it out on turn 2, but that's not really where I want to be in life, and that also makes it a little hard for us to do our stuff since our land count's slightly low. And we also have to use our lands as spells, like putting Squirrel Nest on a forest basically makes the forest a spell, not a land. Yeah, I don't think I'm changing anything. Hopefully opponent just doesn't name our combo too hard. Actually, let's bring him in for a Cures follower if I can. Nope. We're going to be better off if we get our explosive start with the Deep Forest Hermit and the Craterhoof Behemoth. This is fine. If opponent's not on Meddling Mage, we can kind of make something out of this. As opposed to black-white, I'm going to be running out the Utopia Sprawl here because a Thalion 2 also does kind of ruin our day. What's up, Brad One? I'm doing infinite squirrels, and it's working. Brad One just came over. But yeah, so I'm going to be running out Utopia Sprawl. Our humans opponent should not be running Ghost Quarter, but they are running Thalia, which would make this cost 2, which makes it severely less good. We also have a Transmute in hand, so I've got to name blue on this one. Meddling Mage is probably naming Squirrel Nest now. I'm 100% running out this forest and jamming Squirrel Nest on it if they don't name it, because we can actually get a critical mass of squirrels on the ground. We'll still die to Mantis Riders, but being able to untap our lands and make a lot of squirrels is completely a game plan here. Kite Cell can only take Squirrel Nest, so that's not going to work. Really don't know if I want to transmute this. If they are holding any more interaction, I'm going to have to get a non-creature spell. Yep, we take our beats. Alright, I guess that means we have to. So, taking a shock to do this. We'll transmute this guy. I'm just going to grab another Squirrel Nest because that at least makes it so our infinite mana is online. Assuming that we get Intruder Alarm out. Ooh, alternatively, I could just get a tracker and start getting card advantage. Ensnaring Bridge could also just shut out the game, although I think I want to do Ensnaring Bridge the turn that I can play it. So let's just grab a Squirrel Nest. If they have a Meddling Mage, it's just going to be awkward for them to interact with it. Because one's already gone, we have one in hand. If they don't, Squirrel Nest comes out, we have a backup plan. Alright, this is a Mantis Rider. Getting hit for 7. Squirrel Nest likely isn't going to cover it, but hitting a land in a Noble Hierarch here is going to make it so that I have 5 mana the following turn. That's a little bit slow. Alright, so this is 4, this is 5. Oh, then 6. So, yeah, I can totally do that if Noble survives. So green, Squirrel Nest on the forest. I'm still going to be able to get beat down pretty hard, but this gives me a chump blocker in case they have 2 humans for champion, and it also means that I can empty my hand fairly successfully and go get an Ensnaring Bridge and run it out, so I get a little time to build behind a protection. Yeah, 2 humans means I'm dead. Athalia's Lieutenant also means I'm dead. So Noble's on chump block duty. If I only take 4 in the air, though, that means I should have 1 more turn to block with the... Oh, fantastic. Alright, they are going on the aggro beatdown plan, which means I'm taking 7 here, and then they can swing in for 1 next turn. So Drift is going to go get me a... Oh, but I am either going to give them the Lethal Spirit, or I'm going to kill myself. So, yep, that doesn't work. Alright, so gonna tell opponent what my win conditions were. Intruder Alarm, Squirrel Nest, combo. GG's opponent. Well, that officially bumps us down to the 1-3 bracket. Honestly, humans did feel like one of the worst matchups I could possibly get into. I think I actually did punt game 1. I know for a fact I punted match 3. But we could be doing better than this. It definitely has some power just being a linear strategy. Me being a controlling player, wish that I had more interaction. Being able to kill something like a Mantis Rider there would have bought me like 2 full turns. Killing the Mantis Rider also would have meant that the Phantasmal image would have come in as a copy of the Champion of the Parish, and my Squirrels could have just blocked it until I was ready to set up an Ensnaring Bridge. But decks with a lot of interaction are going to make it hard to make multiple 3 CMC drops to combo out. Anything with removal can kill a lot of our land untappers. But this is a turn 2 Squirrel Nest, turn 3 Intruder Alarm, and a way to untap. That's delicious. Alright, this is playable. The drift could be just about anything else, but that's fine. Oh boy, humans again? Spirits? Well, it might be going 1-4 today, but whatever. We're playing Infinite Squirrel, so I had fun. I'm having a blast. Still a little surprised people made us click through it, but still having a just wonderful time. Ooh, that's a draw right there. That, I think, means that I can actually win on turn 3. Okay, so draw step makes me think that they have a V-click, so... Okay, gonna get a basic if for whatever reason they run Field of Ruin. Does make the blue slightly awkward, but I shouldn't need to transmute, so I only need 1 blue at a time. And I can just Utopia Sprawl for blue. Arbor Elf. Oh wow, that's Spell Queller. Spell Queller is going to be rough. Not going to lie, that stops just about everything in our deck. And we have no way to interact with it or block it. Okay, so this is going to be Forbidden Orchard, create a token, Utopia Sprawl, have 4 mana. That 4 mana is probably going towards Squirrel Nest first, just because I can make multiple squirrels a turn, and that still gives us Craterhoof isn't out, because Fate Stitcher plus Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl is 6 mana, which means I only need 2 more, and this is going to be one of them. Alright, that's slightly awkward. Opponent likes pausing on the draw steps. Well, first things first. Gonna Utopia Sprawl and see if that baits anything out. They could potentially have a Mausoleum Wanderer. What you got, opponent? Nothing? Okay. Well, I would prefer to be able to... They don't have mana for Spell Queller, but they are representing something along the lines of Remand or Mana Leak. If this is Spirits, it's not likely that they have it. This is likely just a Mausoleum Wanderer and a Rattle Chains. And I really don't want to Squirrel Nest a forest that already has a Utopia Sprawl on it. It just leads to so many blowouts. So I think I'm just going to run out my Fate Stitcher. Then I can run out an Intruder Alarm as bait, and then if they counter it, I can just slam another Intruder Alarm and basically combo off. Where this in exile is bad for me, but it's also representing just a crap ton of mana. This is at least 7 mana here. Also lets me diddle their stuff so that they can't hold up interaction. Well, there's the Rattle Chains. Called that. Oh, that's a spirit! Why does that have to be a spirit? Oh boy. Alright, so Squirrel Nest still goes infinite on Forbidden Orchard with the Fate Stitcher. If they have interaction, it's going to be Path to Exile or a Deputy of Detention. And honestly, the problem for them right now is actually the Utopia Sprawl. Oh my gosh, I actually have a ton of mana right now. So this is going to be 6 mana, create a token, create 4 more mana, so I have 10 mana right now. Pretty nice. They could have a Lord. I'm not even going to remotely bother. Unearth is fairly cheap at the moment, but not even going to remotely bother. Oh, wow. I think that's actually my bait spell. If I've ever seen a bait spell before, it's a second Utopia Sprawl on a forest. Opponent definitely likes the draw step stop. You gonna V-click me? Guess not. I actually want to save this for Intruder Alarm, so I think right now I'm just gonna go all in. We're getting green. Let's untap it. This is going to be the Intruder Alarm, and I've got to hold up double green, so let's get rid of blue first. Spell Queller me. Do it! Do it! I think opponent's trying to figure out the implication here. They've got to have some amount of interaction if it's a Spell Queller or a Diregraph, or they probably at least have the 2 mana 1/3 Supreme Phantom. Alright, yeah, that's fine. You get it first. Then we're going to diddle this guy. Diddle, diddle. I'd love to use the ability. Then this is going to be an Intruder Alarm. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, so we get to untap everything, we go infinite. I don't even know what turn this is. This is a ton of abilities. Is this turn 2? Turn 2, River Office. Oh no, this is my turn 3. But still, that's pretty impressive. Alright, so I also have infinite mana here. So let's go ahead and undiddle that guy. Love to use the ability. We'll just float a crap ton of mana here. And I have infinite squirrels on a whim. And even if it doesn't work, I basically have infinite mana. I should have done Arbor Elf first because Fate Stitcher will give me the ability to create a token, and that'll untap all my creatures for infinite mana. I'll just transmute, go get another squirrel nest. But for now, really doesn't matter because I just get to untap if I have to interact with something and get infinite squirrels. So, turn 4 kill. That was through a Spell Queller and still holding up interaction. I'm quite happy with that. Just need opponent to actually play through their turn. So they could technically double Lord here and swing out for a lot. I can block the ground spirits, which, why are you guys spirits? It'd take 8 if they double Lord. Triple Lord would be still alive. Alright, well, let's go ahead and just start this. I don't want to run the risk of getting blown out by a ton of Lords because Rattle Chains gives them... Sorry, not Rattle Chains. The other card gives them Flash. So they could flash in just multiple Lords here. All right, opponent. It'd be nice if you don't like make me actually play this out because you're a little bit on the slower side. All of my opponents so far have actually made me make the infinite squirrels. It's not like it's super bad, but like I guess I am a combo deck, but you should also understand that you're gonna die at your end step. Always yield. So if opponent actually did have interaction that mattered there, they had to do it with me being tapped down. Create a squirrel. And then Fate Stitcher just gets to stick around and untap something if it matters. Like if for whatever reason I need to give them a spirit, I can. But yay, squirrels! Thank you, opponent. Oh my gosh, you're a scholar and a gentleman. Opponent pinged me fun. All right. Had a couple of salty dudes tonight, but our last two opponents have been pretty good. All right, Spirits. Narset does nothing. Rexage again only hits Vile. Trinisphere doesn't really interact on a level that's meaningful. Scoos can eat stuff out of the graveyard. Unfortunately, Moorland Haunt is an activated ability, or sorry, it's part of the cost, which means I just need to keep their graveyard clear. But that at least gives me the most opportunity. For the first time ever, I don't think Presence is coming out. This allows me to combo off without needing a land, and I think it's a little more likely that they have Field of Ruin. I still don't think they have it, but that doesn't necessarily need to come out. Drift is fine. Being a spirit's slightly awkward for whatever synergies that might cause. I think most of them are modern errated, so like they're only spirits you control. Tireless Tracker can get us a lot of card advantage. Intruder Alarm goes infinite. Wow. All right. Never mind. This dude's kind of a douche. Let's see. Negate doesn't. They didn't show me green, so I'm not afraid of Coco. Maybe I'm just taking out Presence of Gond and a Grook because he can get Spell Quellered. But Infinite Squirrels has gone off a couple of times tonight. Like, it's been doing what it needs to. I mean, it's not even remotely competitive. Anything Intruder Alarm based is only a passing fancy. Do 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 do. Hopefully we get a good draw. I'd like to actually finish on a good note and actually make it into my 2-3 bracket of random jank. Alright, what do we have here? We have Arbor Elf into Utopia Sprawl. We can drift into a combo piece, and we're holding a finisher. Not ideal, but this is a 6-card hand I would keep without the Crater Hoof, so yeah, let's go hang on to it. Opponent shouldn't be able to interact with Arbor Elf, which means I'm just going to ramp a ton of mana here. They should have Deputy of Detention on the side, especially after seeing the Squirrel Army. So I'm expecting there to be a little bit more interaction if I try to go for Ensnaring Bridge than my human opponent would have had. Land isn't horrible. It actually allows me to get like a Squirrel Nest and start actually using my lands as spells. Wow, opponent and tanking on the draw step. Come on, dude. Alright, this is an Arbor Elf. He does things. One of which is make infinite squirrels now. Thank you. That's like the whole reason I wanted to build this. So we're actually a squirrel dealer, and like we do a lot of squirrel stuff. This week is actually going to be Squirrel Week. Tomorrow is going to be Astral Drift with the new Deranged Hermit. So we're going to be able to flicker it and hopefully just get a lot of squirrels. We're going to be running Loam with the cycling lands and just try to get a lot of attrition value there. I'm really looking forward to this week. Like, I am so stoked about it. I still have my old Odyssey Squirrel Nest. It was the first competitive deck that I ever built. I'm just so psyched to be doing all this stuff. Tithe Taker. Okay. Means that I have to combo off in my turn, but that's about it. It's a human, odd inclusion, but yeah, my competitive, not competitive, my go-to EDH deck is Derevi Squirrels. So I basically just attack with the squirrels and get a number of untapped triggers on my squirrel nest. And so I just make like however many squirrels I made contact with. And then after everything's said and done, uh, okay, so Utopia Sprawl. Then I end up having like Judge Elish Norn and like Gaia's Cradle. So like I can get just a crap ton of mana at instant speed. And I just love the deck. It's so much fun. All right, so I have 4 mana here. I can have 6 mana next turn. I think this means I'm just on Skoos for now. So having 6 mana next turn means I'm pretty close to Crater Hoofing. So, like, going for Drift now doesn't mean a whole lot, but sticking a potential threat does. Also, being able to transmute this and then eat it with Skoos actually feels relevant. Yeah, so my deck ends up usually winning by casting the free or why am I blanking on the name? It's the green card that that's a 0, not a no. This dude. So free or wild, and it basically turns into like, did I draw enough relevant cards to put into play and just slam the win, or am I playing off the top of the deck? And then I usually go get like a Crater Hoof, Elish Norn. That's for the little bit more competitive side of it. Like, it's the deck that can do things, but because it's squirrel themed and I literally have like Squirrel Nest and Chatter the Squirrel and all that in it, like it really waters it down a bit. But when I need to end the game, I can. Absolutely love the deck. At some point, I'm going to try to do a paper stream where we do a commander night with 4 people looking at the table. Yeah, I'm not blocking that. It's all you, opponent. This Wooded Foothills is going to have to get me a breeding pool. They turned into a unique deck out of the side. So that I can actually cast a blue spell with my... Actually, how close am I to winning? Do I actually want to get Intruder Alarm here? Okay, so this land is making me think I actually want to go for Tireless Tracker here. I can transmute, get Tireless Tracker, get 2 clues, and start getting some card advantage back. That's also getting me a threat from my Crater Hoof Behemoth to just slam it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll get the island. Why not? That really cut my mana down a lot, so I'm probably looking at transmuting this for Squirrel Nest again. I just have the most ability to untap and go wild with that. Alternatively, Tireless Tracker does get me pretty far ahead, and opponent has 2 cards in hand. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go get a breeding pool here, and I think I'm on Tireless Tracker. It's sad, but that's the best thing I've got going for me. With opponent being a little landlight here and me being flooded on my end is just the best thing I can do. I want to take the best shot to win, despite the fact that going for the combo is the most fun, but not knowing my other piece here and kind of running into issues with mana is dictating my decision. So I can just grab Tireless Tracker. Bridge doesn't really do anything because Crater Hoof's going to be in hand. Yep. This is why we have our Tireless Tracker. My Derevi deck also runs Brago in it, so you just get a lot of fun flicker effects with things like Deranged Hermit and Ewit, and like it has a lot of play to it. You have a lot of different lines that you can take, but for the most part, you're just playing with yourself a mild amount until you do slam something really nasty like a Crater Hoof. Our play group's also pretty casual though. Like I play with a lot of people with precons, so like Elish Norn and Crater Hoof are about the only cards that can win a game in that deck. Alright, opponent Smuggler Copter is going to get mildly annoying, but Tireless Tracker is going to get pretty big here. Yeah, I do occasionally play with some people with some really good commander decks, so I have a competitive Kess deck I'll put together, and people joke around that it's like $5,000 just gathering dust in a corner because it literally has like Judge promos and Masterpiece Mana Crypts and all the fun stuff in it, but I play it probably once a year. But when people want to do competitive stuff in Commander, like you got to be able to bring your game. Like you can't just sit there and dirtle around with Squirrel Nest. Deputy of Detention. So it's looking better that we went on the all-in or the card advantage strategy. Oh no, the activated abilities cost more. Yeah, I have a couple of cards in my commander decks that are like, oh, it's just a Karmic Guide. I could put a foil in at any point in time, but I'm never going to buy a foil guy's Cradle. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take way too long. I did get like all the Masterpiece Swords, the Phyrexian Elishnorn. Like I've gotten a lot of really pimped out cards, but it's going to be very hard to justify picking up something like that. So that was a punt, kind of going back to the actual game. If I would have eaten this on my turn, I'd have one more life. Uh, Garrick is essentially 3 mana here. I'm going to have 6, so let's go ahead and do this. I am running out of time here. I probably actually should have just made a beast, but I think I'm setting up for the Tireless Tracker here. We'll untap these two guys. There's the tracker. Opponent also hasn't ticked this up to 3, so they're not really representing the Spell Queller. If they do leave Garrick alive, that's basically putting me on, and I have to crack this now because of the Tithe Taker. That's putting me on Crater Hoof. I don't think I can just win out of nowhere unless I draw into Deranged Hermit first, but... Alright, there's an Intruder Alarm. Ability to win is going up. Alright, that's a Supreme Phantom. This turned into a weird Taxes list, like a super weird Taxes list. But opponent's a salty dude, so what you gonna do about it? Currently taking 5, potentially 6. If they just full on alpha, Crater Hoof actually could kill them, because I would make a... Actually, yeah, I could probably kill them here. If I get back the scoos and I can 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to have to untap, which means I can't make a beast. But I'll have 3 creatures, so everybody will get +3/+3. That's swinging for 8, 7, whatever I can do with the scoos. So Wooded Foothills gets me a basic. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll have 1 mana left over, so I can eat this, make this a 3/3. Alternatively, just draw a Squirrel Nest and go infinite, although that doesn't really do anything productive. So if I have Intruder Alarm with anything that generates mana and a way to get stuff into the battlefield, I get near infinite mana, which is why the Emrakul's in the deck. That, and because of this little guy right here, it just felt memey to be able to put Emrakul and 15 Squirrels in the deck. But the backup plan is I have some beats, I have some attrition. Like the plan C is essentially to Deep Forest Hermit, get a ton of Squirrels out, and Craterhoof. So let me actually figure out how much mana I've got here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can crack a clue. I can eat 2 creatures. That'd be 4. Craterhoof. Everything gets +3/+3. That's 7, 4. Yeah, so that should be lethal. So let's eat the Deputy. They are holding up Path, which like I'm going all in at this point. So I mean, putting it on the line. If I can Craterhoof, I can Craterhoof. This deck was a very linear all-in strategy to try to do infinite Squirrels. The Intruder Alarm decks are typically mildly weak to a lot of hate pieces. They honestly just don't accomplish a ton on their own. But it just felt like fun to do all Squirrels. Like, this is going to be Squirrel Week. I'm going to play some terrible Squirrel decks. If you look through any of my previous decks, they all just kind of don't accomplish a whole lot. All right, we took it. So, King of the 2-3 bracket. So sorry, Lemmy Winks, to kind of answer your question. Like, we do have a couple of different options here. Like, we can potentially just untap the Squirrel Nest a couple of times, even without the infinite combo, and overrun with Garrett Garuk. We can just get a couple of Squirrels and run out the Deep Forest Hermit, lord them up, and just have a bunch of 2/2s and kind of go critical mass. Craterhoof is just a solid win condition. If we end up getting Intruder Alarm out, and Emrakul can pretty easily get out there with a couple of mana dorks. This is very all into just, I wanted to do infinite Squirrels, and we did it like 7 times tonight. Like, it was fairly reliable. Like, going 2-3 with a deck as stupid as this is kind of what I'm all about. So actually, as part of that, so like I mentioned a little earlier, this is Squirrel Week for me at Squirrel Dealer. We're going to be doing Squirrel decks for the 3 days I stream. I am 13. I play a bunch of really janky, stupid decks, and they all basically end up going 2-3. Like, I'm not a professional player or anything like that, but I do believe that if I'm going to play Magic, I should be having fun with it. If I do look at some of the more recent decks that I've done Liliana's Contract, did absolutely horribly. Literally just a deck full of counter spells. Oops, all Leylines and Legacy. Squirrel Nitfake and Legacy. Narset Cannon is one of the more recurring decks. Whenever I do horribly, we have a Bell and Cannon option where we just drop what we're doing, go play Narset Cannon. Doubling Season with Planeswalkers, Heartless Gods because they're indestructible and just threats as they are. I try to do a lot of different fun things, like 8 Ball here is actually a blast, and we'll be revisiting it here pretty soon. Just Collected Company, Bloodbraid, and Ball Lightning, and Groundbreaker, but just try to have some fun here. The combo is what we tried to do with this deck. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. We went 2-3. It's not competitive. I could see sleeving this up in paper and taking it to F&M, though. A couple of notes. I didn't necessarily like the fact that, well, it was kind of just a play mistake, but Arbor Elf only untaps a forest, and I felt like we were slightly light on forests. Like, we needed more lands. Turning our lands into spells just would have made this so much better. Garrett Garuk doesn't really combo with the Intruder Alarm. I probably would go up to the 4 Drift of Phantasms because being able to tutor any of your 3-drops felt relevant. Sitting behind the Ensnaring Bridge was slightly awkward. I want more interaction in my decks. I like to play control. I like to be able to answer what they're doing. Fate Stitcher was awesome, but I want a way to get him into the yard. And yeah, Intruder Alarm is just one of those unique cards that when it works, and we need copies 5 through 8 to make this any bit competitive. But thanks for watching, guys. I am 13. We actually have a decent amount of people tonight, so I'll look for somebody to raid on Twitch. Try to send you somewhere a little more fun, but I stream Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday nights at 6:30 Mountain. So I'll be back tomorrow with green white flicker decks, and let's see here. We got anybody doing anything fun? Varos has a decent number of people, and he's playing Marna White. Nah, not. Let's not go to Karn. Um, that's Counter Strike. Boros Citadel in Modern? Yes, that sounds like something that I would be doing. So let's go ahead and send the raid command over. We are going to Conley 81. I think that works. No, it's a slash. I'm so bad at Twitch. I just like playing stupid decks. All right, you guys are headed over in 8 seconds. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you have any questions, feel free to send a message to admin at Squirrel Dealer or check back tomorrow. I usually am pretty good at doing things. And everyone have a good night. Have a good one.